Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the top SpongeBob songs. SpongeBob is a cartoon that initially aired on Nickelodeon in the spring of 1999, and since then it has gone on a 24-year-long tear in pop culture. The show has 13 seasons, 3 movies, and thousands of great memes. Since the show is intended for children, the writers have utilized a number of musical performances to engage their audience. Some of these efforts have been extremely successful, with songs that are more than 20 years old, still garnering mainstream attention, while others were forgettable at best. Let's rank each of these tracks, starting with the SpongeBob SquarePants intro sung by a group of pirates at the beginning of the first movie. The pirate trope throughout this movie feels a bit unnecessary. While the introduction to the movie is a charming rendition of the original theme song, the execution was poor. The cheeky bells interwoven with the backing instrumentals, wishy-washy singing, and obnoxious flute accents do not mesh well for me. Plus, that last note the singer hits at the end of the track is downright bad and should have been re-recorded. I am not sure if the writers were trying to be funny with that last note, but it sounds abysmal. This tune is a strong 3 to a light 4. Next is the actual SpongeBob SquarePants theme song, while better than the track we just discussed, but still underwhelming. The vocal talent on this track is lackluster, and the kids singing at the start is not as endearing as intended. That said, the whistle heard in the background of this track is fire. Plus, this song is forever ingrained in pop culture as the start to almost every episode of one of the greatest cartoons ever created. Unfortunately, that is not good enough to keep the SpongeBob theme song out of the strong 5 category. Up next is Give It All You've Got. I actually forgot this song existed. For anyone else in that same camp, it is from the Season 2 episode Jellyfish Hunter, when Mr. Krabs is jamming out while riding his stationary bike that is used to take advantage of unsuspecting jellyfish so that the Crab Man can reap obscene profits. I have to say, when I re-listened to this song, it was incredible. An absolute blessing for my ears to bestow. I am infatuated with the bass line on this track, and I am stunned Mr. Krabs has such great taste in music. Strong 9 to a light 10 for sure. For anyone that has not heard this track in its entirety, I recommend you check it out. Definitely a highlight in the SpongeBob catalog. Our next track on this tier list is Jellyfish Jam. This is another classic track that seems to live on as a pop culture phenomenon despite its bland nature. Personally, I think the various content creators who use this song for a plethora of memes and other similar art projects have kept the spirit and relevancy of this track alive. That said, it is a quality track but not a banger. It is extremely repetitive, not very nuanced, has a weak hook, and the production on the track is lackluster even by 1999 standards. I'm feeling a light 6 on this. Next is the song Mr. Krabs is seemingly addicted to in the Season 3 episode Crabborg. While that episode is undeniably hilarious, this track is undeniably annoying and repetitive. Not the worst thing in the world, but definitely a weaker track in the SpongeBob discography that is being carried by the timeless and hysterical episode it is associated with. Strong 3 to a light 4 for Electric Zoo, which is the official name of this tune if anyone was wondering. Up next is Squidward's rendition of the Boys Who Cry song It's All About You Girl, technically titled 4-Ply, which I am in desperate need of after hearing Squidward's incredible dramatic singing voice. It is a shame the writers never took advantage of Squidward's voice actor Roger Bumpus's vocal talents more throughout the show. This is a very underrated track. Wish it was longer. Strong 7 is the rating. Next song is Sweet Victory from the Season 2 episode Band Geeks, which might be the best SpongeBob episode to ever be produced. This song is a big part of the reason why that episode is so fantastic. It concludes what was objectively the funniest episode of SpongeBob. The opening keyboard riff, played by none other than Sheldon J. Plankton, always gives me goosebumps, and watching SpongeBob stand up for Squidward while singing an epic tune is heartwarming. I fucking love this song unironically, and am giving it a strong 10 without a second thought. Next is It's All About You Girl by Boys Who Cry. This song is really catchy and has a nice punch to it on the chorus. The stereotypical R&B instrumental is forgettable, but also overshadowed by the supreme vocal talent heard on this track. Really great tune, provides a nice closure to the episode it is featured in. Pundits will argue that this song is ruined during the portion when Pearl begins to sing her own rendition of the song, but I am not factoring that into my list. Only the portion where the members of Boys Who Cry are performing. This track deserves a strong 8. Up next is one of the most emotional tracks the SpongeBob franchise has to offer, Gary Come Home. This is a great and moving track that gets me emotional every time I listen to it. The opening instrumental is one of the hardest piano riffs I have ever heard. You can feel the energy pouring out of the vocalist on this track. Bonus points for the painful, heartbreaking, tear-jerking, gut-wrenching compilation of SpongeBob and Patrick trying to find Gary to the tune of this track. This is another strong 10. The punk cover of this song by Billy Cobb is fire as fuck, too. We had quite a few bangers in a row, but unfortunately this next track is the end of that streak. Best Day Ever is featured in Season 4's final episode. Ironically, Season 4 is the season many SpongeBob fans point to as the point where the quality in episodes nosedived for the worst. The aforementioned Best Day Ever episode is no exception, and this song is doing that episode no favors. This song is unfunny, meaningless, repetitive garbage that only a small, intellectually stunted child could enjoy. Strong 2. Up next is a deep cut. This song is titled Surfin' Summer by Richard Myhill, and is played briefly during the Season 3 episode Doing Time, where we see Fred the Fish jamming out while mopping the floor of a nursing home. It is a shame this track was not featured more predominantly throughout the episode because it is a banger. I like the Beach Boys vibe, old school instrumental and peachy lyrical delivery. Strong 6 to a light 7 for this hidden gem. Up next is another underrated jammer Lammy, but this time it comes from the Season 2 episode Christmas Who. This song is unique in that it carries out dialogue between the characters, yet they do this in a musical fashion, almost as if the characters are in a musical. The instrumental is jolly but not quotidian. Any song which actually sounds good and furthers the plot of an episode is fantastic in my opinion. I am going to give a strong 7. Up next is Loop de Loop. My feelings on this piece are ambiguous. On one hand is a catchy little tune with pretty good instrumental backings. On the other hand, the song seems to be counterintuitive. I imagine the writers wanted to create an episode that would teach their young adolescent audience how to tie their shoes, not to help them, but to immortalize a memory of SpongeBob, creating lifelong fans that would eventually use the same shoe-tying technique they learned from SpongeBob to teach their kids and grandkids. However, this track is objectively terrible advice for anyone who is trying to tie their shoes. The instructions make no sense. This track deserves a 5. It is not bad, but there are plenty of better tracks within the SpongeBob franchise. Up next is Fun. While I understand why some SpongeBob fans love this track for the great nostalgic memories it provides, I personally do not care for this track. It was cute the first few times I heard it, but after seeing so many bad memes and hearing so many petulant children screaming the lyrics to this already overplayed song, I have grown to resent it. The instrumental validates my opinion that this track was intended for children. It reminds me of other irritating children's music like Baby Shark or Tootie Ta. Strong one on this track. Up next is Goofy Goober Rock, a hard-hitting strong rock track seen at the end of the first SpongeBob movie. This track is incredible. With or without the context of being in the movie, this song is objectively good. I usually hate guitar solos, but this song is an exception. It enhances the song rather than distracts from it. The harsh, scathing 80s-style vocal performance is fantastic as well, and meshes well with the hardcore rock melody to back it up. This song has earned itself a strong 8. Up next is another emotionally draining track, This Grill Is Not a Home, featured in the 2001 episode, Welcome to the Chum Bucket. Despite the melodramatic nature of the scene that features this song, it does not prevent it from being one of the saddest tracks SpongeBob has to offer. I'm always impressed with Tom Kenny's vocal performances, despite having little to no background in professional singing, and Mr. Krabs' voice actor Clancy Brown did a great job on this track too. You can feel the emotion coming out of the two men. They do a great job portraying the pain the characters would have felt after being forcibly separated. Very strong. 7 on this track. Up next is the Campfire song. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I have never liked this song, and its undeserved popularity only worsens my negative feelings towards this track. This song is 100% carried by the great episode associated with it, and that is a damn shame. Every time I hear this song, I cringe into oblivion. The song is pretty funny and adds value to the episode, but from a musical perspective, it is low quality. I am feeling a strong 2. Up next is the Texas song sung by Sandy Cheeks. While the instrumentals for this song are simple yet have that sweet southern charm, I think the vocal performance leaves a lot to be desired. Sandy fails to capture the harrowing reality of being homesick. The overall tone in the performer's voice does not match the feelings the song is trying to portray. Sometimes accents in songs can be quite nice, but Sandy's trashy southern twang does not fall into this category. Not a terrible track, but nothing special. This deserves a 5. Up next is Ripped Pants, another overrated track. In fact, Ripped Pants as an episode is also very overrated, but I will not let that interfere with my score. This track is second-rate on all fronts. The song is not funny, vocals are substandard, and the instrumentals are forgettable at best. I also hate that the red fish in the music montage scene is animated as playing a tambourine, but in the instrumental backing of the track, I am struggling to hear an actual tambourine. This track is going into the 4 category. Up next is The Sponge, which is featured in the Season 1 episode The Chaperone. For anyone who may have forgotten, this song is played when SpongeBob takes Pearl to prom. This track fits the high school dance vibe. It is catchy and not too complex. I can feel the Phantom red solo cup in my hand every time I listen to this track. That being said, it is not one of the best tracks SpongeBob has to offer. The guitar instrumental is pleasurable, but the vocal performance is humdrum and dry. I am feeling a light 6, maybe a strong 5 on this one. Last on our list is Cause That's What Friends Do, which is debuted in the Season 2 episode Wormy. It is a shame this song is only featured for 30 seconds in this episode because it has a lot of potential. While I understand that 30 seconds of time in an 11-minute episode is a huge time sink, I cannot shake the dread I feel realizing the lost potential this song possesses. It would have been great to hear this song in its entirety in a special. This song is a classic. My only complaint is that it gets stuck in my head from time to time and I cannot get it off of my mind. This song has earned itself a strong 5. Transition. Have you given these tracks a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well over here next to my head, Anthony Fantano, SpongeBob's Top Tracks Forever. By the way, you can support this channel using the links in the description to earn yourself $100 with Chime. Sign up with Swag Bucks to start earning money by taking surveys and finding discount while shopping online, or signing up for free stocks with Public.com.